Hey y'all, Tom, ND3N here, and thanks for dropping into my radio room, or in this case, in front of the green screen, for another Ham Shack chat. When I initially started thinking about doing this video, I wanted to talk about propagation on the HF bands. And more specifically, I wanted a way to show how propagation functions. I wanted to show you what happens during the day and night on different bands. And so I started looking up pictures online and looking what other ham radio YouTube creators had put out. But nothing I found really satisfied me.
Satisfaction.
Then I had an epiphany. I had such a tool that I used all the time. So I started playing around to verify that it would do what I wanted. And it did. Yay! That tool is the combined use of WSJT-x and the GridTracker map. WSJT-x has a menu setting under the Reporting tab where you can select Enable PSK Reporter Spotting. Selecting this causes everyone that I can see transmitting under the scrolling band activity to be reported to the PSK reporter. And GridTracker has something similar but opposite in that everyone who hears my signal gets displayed up on the map. So once I had figured out that that would actually work, I sat down to start doing the recording. Starting at my local noontime here in Southwest Ohio and repeating every 4 hours, or 4 p.m., 8 p.m., midnight, 4 a.m., and 4 8 a.m., I called CQ on FT8 until GridTracker displayed the people who had heard my signal. If someone answered my CQ, I was a gentleman. I went ahead and worked them before moving on to the next band. I started on 80 meters, then progressed to the 40, 20, 15, and 10 meter band. And on every one of those bands, at every one of the time slots, I took a screenshot of the GridTracker map. To be clear, this is not a video about WSJT-x or GridTracker.
It's not that kind of movie, honey.
Although it is very convenient. It simply shows how my signal is being propagated on those bands and at those times. It can be presumed that any mode would be propagated in the same way. For all of these times and bands, I had an output power of 40 watts from my TS890S into my Gap Challenger DX vertically polarized dipole antenna. If you have any questions, comments, or just general remarks, please leave them down in the comments.
Any comments?
Starting off at noon on Saturday, as I noted before, the operating conditions using my Kenwood TS890 and Gap Challenger DX antenna running 40 watts. The solar flare index is 133 with 125 sunspots. The planetary A index is 4 and the K index is 0.33. I've color-coded each band based on how many PSK reports are shown. These are the blue lines that radiate from my home QTH in Southwest Ohio. The green indicates many contacts and probable success in completing multiple QSOs. Yellow indicates some activity, but you would probably need to have a little bit of luck to complete a QSO. There are no red codes shown on this particular page, but you'll see them in subsequent pages where no signals were reported to the PSK reporter. From this, you can see that 80 and 10 meters have only onesie-twosie reports, while 40, 20, and 15 meters show good activity. 4 hours afternoon at 4 p.m. local or 9 p.m. UTC, the solar flare index remains at 133 and the number of sunspots also remains at 125. The A index is 4 and the K index is 0.67. 80 meters is red, so no QSOs were reported. The remainder of the bands, 40, 20, 15, and 10 meters, are open and you can expect to easily make contacts on these bands. At 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 1 a.m. UTC, on Saturday, there are many stations reporting hearing me on 80, 40, and 20 meters. But Nothing is reported for 15 meters and 10 meters. The operating conditions show a solar flare index of 128 with 125 sunspots. The A index is 3 and the K index is 0.33. We've still got a few more slides to present, but if you stick around for it, the final slide shows everything. And if you've stuck around this video up until now, and also if you're enjoying it and maybe learning something from it, please take a moment to pop that thumbs up icon and give me a like.
I like that.
At midnight on Sunday in my home Radio Shack, the conditions show a solar flare index of 128 with 125 sunspots. The A and K indices are 3 and 0.67 respectively. 80 and 40 meters show considerable promise for successful QSOs, while 20 meters is hanging on by a thread and 15 and 10 meters are shut down for the night. At 4 a.m., the conditions were a solar flare index of 128 with 125 sunspots. The A index was 3 and the K index was 1.33.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
20 meters has joined 15 and 10 meters and has given up the ghost, while 80 meter is providing not only good coverage in the U.S., but some Caribbean DX. 40 meters has even better U.S. coverage, as well as tickling Southern Europe. Now, I hope you appreciate my sleep sacrifice in getting up at 4 a.m. to get that report. I always have a hard time getting back to sleep, so I was up for 2 hours after my alarm went off at 3:30. If you appreciate this, you can help spread the word about this video and others on this channel by sharing.
Thank you for sharing.
With your friends, compatriots, and cohorts in the ham radio community, especially on social media.
Social media?
At 8 a.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. UTC on Sunday, the solar flare index is reading about 128 and the sunspot number remains at 125 as it has throughout the rest of this video. The planetary A index was 3 and the K index was 0.33. All the bands show some activity, with 80 through 15 meters showing healthy results, while 10 meters had a single report between my home and Puerto Rico. Here are all 30 maps generated by GridTracker and sourced from PSK Reporter. A couple of observations. As expected, the longer wavelengths were best at night due to the absence of the ionospheric D layer, and the shorter wavelengths are most active when the sun is shining. Overall, 10 meters is the weakest band on HF with only one green box at 4 p.m. Technician operators who want to talk on HF should take note and start studying for their general ticket. 40 meters was the only band that showed activity during all of the time slices. This is why I suggest that if you can only put up one antenna, and if you're on a bit of a budget, it should be a low-cost homebrew 40-meter dipole or inverted V. In addition to being able to use it around the clock, it will also, with the help of an antenna tuner, match up on 15 meters, giving you two bands for the price of one. And now we've come to the end of another Ham Shack chat. I hope that you have enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed putting it together for you.
Did you enjoy it?
I've added multiple links in the video description for your review. I also encourage you to search for other creators who discuss propagation effects, as many of them do a deeper dive than I presented here. Please remember to like, share, comment, and please consider subscribing. 73 until the next Hey Y'all. As always, I'm at your service. I'm Tom, ND3N, and I am out.
No, green screen always looks so fake.